Hello. Yeah. My name is Sam Kavanagh. I'm a musician, which puts me halfway between comedian and academic, I suppose. Yes, that was my joke. So I do a lot of stuff around music. I run choirs here in Dublin, and I get people singing and all that kind of stuff. What I was going to do with this is maybe talk to you about a bit of the nerdy stuff behind music and maybe get into writing some music. What a reaction. Okay, so who has written music before here? Has anyone? Yes, great. One. Cool, okay. That'll be useful when I call for a volunteer in a second. Okay, here's the very first thing we need. A line. Ooh. Say ooh again. And again. And like slowly. Could you do it even half the speed of that, if you can even figure out how that works? Now watch this. Keep going. Yeah! Again! Yeah. So it's a really important thing when you're singing or just saying ooh, not singing, don't worry. Say ooh again. Ooh. And keep going forever. Ooh. Keep going. So what'll happen is, as an individual, you'll need a breath. So take the breath, but come back. So that in theory, this could be the whole set, that you just ooh, and then I'll bow, and social pressure, you will clap, and I'll be invited back. I'll make you ooh again, and the cycle continues. So keep oohing, ooh. You could even switch to ah. But keep going. So breathe when you need to, but the group will never stop. Yeah. Great. Okay, so here's the thing. This line represents, as you might have guessed, high and low. This is your lowest note, this is your highest note. Sing your lowest note. Sing your highest note. Yeah, I think if you maybe shrug your shoulders a little, you could even do a higher note. So take a breath and really just go for it. See if you can knock down the whatever's up there. Here we go. Highest note. On your lowest note. Classic Bugs Bunny move. Okay, so we've got our highest note and our lowest note, and I can just conduct it like this. Ooh, and so on. And that already is a pretty good melody, I think. But what's interesting is music, forgetting physics and entropy and all that stuff, let's just agree that time starts in the past and goes to the future, and that's it. And stop fucking thinking about it, because that's it. So the past, you were born maybe, and you'll die, and stuff will happen after that. In the middle, you went to Whelan's, maybe Zaytoon afterwards, that kind of thing. You've got time goes this way. So now if I go up and down, sing your lowest note. Ooh. This is your highest note. Sing your middlest note. Your most middle note. To an ah. Pretty good. So this is your range. I'm going to go up and down, and then I'm going to start time, and you'll see what happens. Up and down, here we go. Ooh. Keep singing, breathe, and all that stuff. I need you to keep singing. And you're going to keep singing as time starts. That's pretty good. Can you sing it again? Here we go. Ooh. Yes. That's the art of it. Put the climax just right there. Okay, so this is technically a melody. It's got a couple of characteristics that are maybe a bit weirder than other melodies. One is that it's continuous. This is not normal. Usually we do something with it. Before we get into that, is it worth asking, can you tell me what's weird about this melody compared to maybe every other melody you've ever heard? What's it lacking? Rhythm, which is, someone else started it. Repetition. So let's just do, I'm going to cheat a little. I have my disruptive technology. Oh, it's such a good joke. Okay, and we've got some of these. And I'm just going to make patterns. So we did the up and down thing, that's clear. We can make patterns. It has to go from the past to the future, because entropy. And it's got some repetitive stuff. It's not amazing, but you see there's this, and it repeats, and then it kind of repeats up here, and it repeats again, and then the opposite happens. You can see, there's visual patterns. Would you agree? Yeah. There's also gaps. Maybe not very clear, but let's make them clearer. That's a gap, 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 and shall we put one there? Yeah. So let's sing this one. Time goes, and we've got our lowest note, ooh, whatever it is. Ooh. Yeah. Wow, okay, you can clap, okay, cool. Now this is quite common, this is from the music world. I don't know how many of you read music, but that's a pause. I've forgotten, a fermata. And that just means we're gonna hold the last note, because give it a bit of gravitas. Now, what's still weird about this? It's got patterns, that's fine, but it's still going, and that's not normal. So what we have to do is what I'm pretty sure we can quantize it. Great word. That's a physics word. So here we go. Instead of continuous change, we're just going to divide it into 3 bits. The high bit, the middle bit, and the low bit. Now this will work if we agree what the high bit and the middle bit and the low bit are. High, middle, low. So let's do that. Sing a low note. Okay, so sing this low note. Yeah, and now sing it like it is music, as my teacher used to say. Yeah, and anyone want to volunteer a middle note? Great, yeah, nailed it. And a high note? Yeah, it's the obvious one, yeah. So, go again. So again, forgetting time, I can just improvise using my line of, I don't know, I never named it, but this thing. Sing. Yeah. Tunes, right? So it's getting a bit there. Now, here's what's going to happen is anything below this line is just anything above or in between these lines is and anything above here is so we actually lose a lot because it's not, what would be the word? Not a very high resolution. There's only 3 quantized bits. And that's fine, we'll deal with that in a second, but here we go. Time is going to start. If the line is anywhere, you know, you get it. Here we go. Sounding slightly more musical, and that's really all we're after. I know I've thrown in science words, but it's all about getting something that sounds sort of lovely, and I don't care how we do that. So there's 3 things. I'm going to just increase the resolution, I guess. So to this. Hope this works. Let's just agree that the last note is the lowest note, yeah, because otherwise it sounds crap. So, how many is that? 6. Yeah, that makes sense. New color. And also... That'll work. Okay. Here's some music stuff. La. Your go. Yeah. And then we go up a diapason, as the Greeks called it, and an octave, as they named it later, for reasons which don't apply to us. La. La. Yeah, and actually, if I'm being... There we go. Now, there's bits in between. Here they go. La, do, re. It's got to be one of them. Re, la, do, re, mi, so, la. No, we're not doing fa. Ask me why afterwards. I'm not wasting my minutes explaining the inadequacies of fa. So, just have a listen and, absorb. La, do, just listen. La, do, re, mi, so, mi, re, do, la. Here we go. Yes, it's noticeably shyer than when you were going, woo! So if you could bring some of that sirenic energy to it. La, do, re. It's still, going up and down in music and stuff. And so here we go. La, do, re, mi, so, mi, re, do, la. A really good way to pick a favorite one that you like the most, and just know that. Here we go. It's beautiful. Okay, now, instead of just going up and down the scale, because we've got a composition that we composited earlier, so here we go. It's the same deal. It's quantized, but slightly more, so the resolution's a little better, and we've got a bit of action, and let's just see how it sounds. I'm going to get my time starter. And you're just going to sing when the time thing, you get it. I don't know how to explain it, but La, here we go. La. Yes, and you correctly filled in the gap. Let's just agree that does make it up there. Yeah. So now that we've written squiggly lines and we've quantized it down to the pentatonic scale, which has 6 notes. Music jokes. I'm just going to make it simpler. So instead of having to guess which area does this happen in, and I'm sure there's a physics joke there too, I'm just going to make dots happen. That's what the musicians did back in the day. They actually did squares first, and the reason to that was just they had square pens. But I have a circle pen, so this, yeah, that's very confusing, that bit. So the real thing, yeah, that's all making sense. That should be, because time only goes in one direction. Yeah, that's clear. And then this, and I can give that TIE fighter wings. That makes it longer. Now, this will just clarify anywhere you see an apostrophe. Musicians invented apostrophes, and that's a fact that's interesting rather than a joke. They're the ones and full stops. We came up with a way of, when there's all these words and you gotta breathe, and musicians were the ones who cared about that first, and that translated into just reading in your head, even though you don't need to breathe then. So anywhere you see an apostrophe is a breath, effectively, and then so we've got these little phrases, and we've got our melody, and we've got la, do, re. If the la, do, re stuff is blowing your mind and you don't know which one to call it, doesn't matter, just follow the group. There seems to be enough of us that we get it. So here we go. La. Breathe. ripped one out. Shite. Yeah, and you know, a big part of music is that you've got to deal with my problems. Okay, so can you do it without me pointing? And I might even do a bit of this if I have time, which I sort of do. One last thing, there's nods, okay, cool. The last thing is this. We've written a mono D. D, I suppose, means a tune, and mono means there's one of them, as opposed to polyphony. I don't know, they didn't really care how they came up with the words, but we want to make it polyphonic, because that's more interesting. Polyphonic, poly means many, phonic means sound. So here's how we're going to do it. Very simply, we're going to have a drone. A drone is you pick one of the notes, and when I say you pick, I mean I tell you to sing la and you do it. So, la, sing it to ooh, or no, ah. Oh. And that's this like support, yeah? So some of you are gonna do that, and some of you are gonna sing the tune. And as much as you can, if you get your head out of this and into the magical soul-opening world of music, it'll be much more enjoyable. But whatever works for you. So we've got the drone, and then the tune. Thank you very much. If you'd like to sing la a lot more, I run a choir called the La 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 Choir, and we sing la and other notes and other words and everything, and it'll be worth a Google if this all interests you. Thank you.
Hey, yes, fantastic.